Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Laura Parrish, founder of #TNS Marketing, and I'm super excited to be coming to you guys tonight live with an amazing special guest. I've been actually waiting for to join us for almost a month now. Like, I was going to have him on, and then I had some things going on, so I had to reschedule, and so tonight is the night. He is finally here, and I'm just ecstatic to have him. Mr. Dave Reineke, who hails from South Africa, has joined us tonight on our TNS Hangouts call. Excited to be back with you guys. It is the 17th of July, 2016, and I also have on the line with us Mr. Robert Nevin, so if you guys just want to wave, hi, say hello, who is also a part of our team and one of Dave's personally enrolled members. So we're excited to have them on tonight, but tonight is really for Dave. Now, I know normally you guys are used to me talking about specific topics or things like that on this Sunday night call, but tonight we're doing something different because I, for the first time ever, have decided to have a special guest, obviously Dave, and I think it's powerful. He's here to share a story of inspiration and of hope and of change and transformation, quite honestly, and to break the barrier of all excuses that you have for why you might not be able to be successful owning your own business from the comfort of your home. So without further ado, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to come up with several questions. I know Robert will as well, but I just want to turn it over to Mr. Dave Reineke and allow him to share his story of where he came from, where he started at, and the journey and where he's at now. So, Dave, it is all yours, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, Laura, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that introduction. And first of all, just want to thank a lot of people out there who have supported me and believed in me. I really do feel that belief is a real strong component of becoming successful. But you know, getting back to where I started, you know, being in South Africa is a very, very difficult country to actually work online with. We don't have e-commerce in the same way that a lot of you guys have in America or Australia, the UK, New Zealand. E-commerce is virtually dead. We don't really understand how it works. A lot of people don't. If you go into a bank and you ask about PayPal, they'll say, what is PayPal? Not many people understand what that is. So it can be very frustrating. And you know, I've always wanted to be able to have my own business. I've always wanted to be able to be financially independent, which is my biggest thing, and I am now. But I remember about 10 years ago, this all started about 10 years ago, I remember being, you know, having conversations with a buddy of mine. We'd always think about ideas about making a business and how it could actually work. It was go and have coffee and talk about what we could achieve, and nothing seemed to work. You know, all these physical businesses, it just seemed like everybody else is too big, and we couldn't actually get anywhere. And I remember following somebody online. My very first inspiration for getting online was a guy by the name of Jeff Walker. And if you know who Jeff is, he's kind of like the founder of the list building thing online. And Jeff told the story about how he had this family and he wanted to have a career, and he also had a hobby about doing the stock market, you know. So he used to write about the stock market and watch it, and he would write these little these booklets full of it, about what the stock was doing. And one day he had this idea. He was going to send out a kind of like an email to his personal friends, saying, you know, if you pay me like $20, I'll give you a report on what's happening with the stocks. And he just had this idea. So he sent this out the day before he was going to college to study for something. He only paid for the first semester because he couldn't afford anything else. And he sent this out the night before. And when he woke up the next morning, just as he was heading out the door, he decided to look at his email. And he looked at his email and he made it was like $200. He had 17 people on his list. 3 of them was his address, and you know, one of them was his wife, and he had 2 addresses, which was himself. So he decided, you know, he made $200. So he went to college, and if you know Jeff, he's a very quiet person. He didn't say anything, and he kind of just walked in the classroom waiting for the lecture to start, and he looked out the window. I'll never forget this. He said, if I could do this once, I could do it again. And as the lecturer walked in, he just stood up and walked right out the classroom. And, you know, the rest is history. He built his empire, making his product and selling it. And I've been following Jeff for a long, long time. And it was that moment that I really wanted to get started online. So I really investigated on what I could do. I tried to purchase this product, but it was like $3,000, which for me is like if I said to you, pay $30,000 for a product. It was crazy amount of money. The currency in this country is very weak. We don't have, if you say 25 bucks to me, I'm thinking 250 Rand, which is like if I said to you $250. Anyway, so after that, a friend of mine came back from, you know, working on ships, and he came back. He had himself like an American bank account and everything, and he started working online, and he was an affiliate marketer. And so, you know, I said, well, what are you doing? And he told me what he was doing, and I said, how can I get on this? I really want to do this. So he said, well, what you need to do is you have to write articles and sell products. So I decided I was going to try and become an affiliate marketer, and I'd go on these Web 2.0 sites and write these articles, and he would tell me you had to do it every single day. Like he would write 5 articles manually, and he would just do this and do this and do this. And he said, look, it takes a long time. It took him like 6 months to get him momentum. And I said, okay, I'll try it. And I just, for the life of me, could not, because I'm not academic at all. So it was a real struggle for me. And I went back to him. So what else can I do? And he says, well, you can make a product. So I said, what do you mean? So he says, write a book. So I wrote a book. It took me 2 years. It's called Personality Analytics. And I wrote this thing. It went through so many changes, but I got it completed. And I wrote it for Americans. I spelled everything the way you guys spell, you know, all the wrong spelling. And I put it up on I put it up on Amazon, I think, and some other sites. And I tried to market this book, and of course nothing was happening. And I finally sold 2 in a space of, I think it was like 6 months, and I made 60 bucks. And that's all I made, but I couldn't do anything else. And I was so frustrated. And I remember going back to my buddy and saying, look, man, I got to do something. I do not want to be, you know, 50 years old and not, because I'm not employable. Nobody could employ me for more than 2 years because I was always distracted with doing something I wanted to do. So I went online out of sheer frustration, and I just typed in the phrase, make money online, and I bumped into this video made by Reineke. Some of you might know him. And he said, I'll teach you how to make money online for free. So I said, cool, I can afford free. So I actually found his email address. I sent him an email and said, Ryan, I'm very interested, but I live in South Africa. Can you help me out? So Ryan responded back to me. All right, that's a hint for you guys out there. Respond back to people. Anyway, so he responded back to me, and he said, hey, Dave, let's get on, I think it was like Facebook. We chatted for a while. He said, let's get on Skype. So we got on Skype. And I could not believe this guy was calling. I said, wow, I've written to so many people out there, and he's actually responding back to me. So we spoke on Skype, and he says, look, I'm involved with this program. It's called, like, it was like My Cash Freebies or something. And he said, why don't you try to do that? So I said, great, send me the website. I signed up. I could not do it because South Africa was not allowed to participate in that program. It's like, I think it's called Z&Z. You guys have something similar as well. Anyway, and he actually stayed on the line with me for about a few hours trying to figure out how I could use this program. We even tried loopholes, but we needed a social security number. It was no ways I could do it. And I said, do you have anything else I could do? So he says, yeah, look, I got this deal. It's a network marketing company, and I've been using it and making some money. And I said, really, what is it? So he told me what it was, and for those of you who know, it's Empower Network. And I said, great. How much, or like, what do I need? Is it for free? And he said, no, it's 25 bucks. I said, that's nothing. It's like it's like 3 cups of coffee at Starbucks. And I went, what? You know how many cups of coffee I could buy with $25? I said, I could buy like 20 cups. It's crazy. So I said, well, look, that's the deal. It's 25 bucks. You get started. I said, okay, fine. So I went to go and think about it. And I had no money. I had no money. And I remember speaking to my dad about this. And my dad actually gave me 250 Rand, which is our currency. And he says, go ahead and sign up. So I said, great. And I just thought it was a one-time deal. I thought one time, 25 bucks, I'll get in, and that's it. So I get in, and I find out it's a monthly thing, and my heart nearly sank. A monthly thing. And I thought, okay, fine, let me just do this. And then it goes to the next page. No, you need to be an affiliate, $19. Oh, my goodness me, 19 bucks. Oh, my word. And it's monthly. So I said, okay, fine. So I get into the program. Then I find it out I need an autoresponder, which is another $15. So I've got to come up with almost $65 every single month. And I said, how am I going to come up with this? Because it's like a quarter of a salary over here. It's a quarter of a salary that I got to come up with to pay for this business. And I wasn't working. So I went around looking for work. I went to go and find, I asked a friend of mine, I said, look, if you've got any work, just give it to me and I'll do it. I'll do whatever you need to do. I just need to be able to pay this thing every single month. And he said, fine. So I did everything. I mean, I spent a lot of time working just so I could pay the tuition of this program. Anyway, so I started learning. And Ryan actually started the same time I did, pretty much the same time I did with Empower. And we got to working. And Ryan didn't know much either. So every time I had a question, he just said, look, I got this great training you can look at. Go and look at this training and work at it. And there was this training on making videos. And I thought, okay, well, I can make videos. I got no problem being on camera. Let me do that. So I started to make videos. And I said, what videos must I make? He says, do product reviews. Okay. So I went and I found every single product I can. And I started to do these product reviews. But nothing worked. Like, I thought I knew what I was doing, and I had no idea. I honestly had no idea how to make a video. I'd start my videos off by saying, hey, my name is Dave. I live in South Africa. My favorite color is green. I love dogs. And I just want to tell you news. And by the way, I'm doing this product review on, and I would talk. What I didn't know was people were clicking off the moment I said, I live in South Africa, and I took too long. Anyway, so I'm making like 20, 30 videos a day, just making product reviews, and I'm going nuts. Nothing is working. But I became very good at ranking videos because I did it so often, and Ryan taught me the skill of ranking videos, and I got so good at it, I could rank videos in under a minute on YouTube. I was really good, and I became so good at that in fact, people would pay me to rank their videos. So I was making like a couple of $100 a month doing that because that's how good I was. I was involved with this MyCash freebie stuff as a funnel on the front end, and then when people signed up, Ryan would get paid, and then they would hopefully get in on the other side with Empower. But nothing was working. Nothing was working. So Ryan actually, he started to work with me a lot and said, Ryan, he says, Dave, I'm starting this website. I need you to do some research on these videos for me. Could you do that? And while I was doing research, I found out, because I was looking up subscribers and how to get clicks, and I found this advert that said, pay me $25 and I will put 25 ads up for you on Craigslist. And I thought, wow, okay, I'm onto something here. So I contacted this guy and I said, can we do $5, maybe 10? You know, I tried to haggle. He said, no way, it's 25 bucks, that's it. So I said, okay, fine. So I managed to scrounge together 25 bucks after a week or two of saving, and I gave this guy the money, and he said, wait 12 days. I'll never forget it, the 12 days. And I waited and waited and waited and waited, and after 12 days, now you know when you start and you start learning stuff, you get an opt-in, all right, an email that goes to your capture page. I was getting like one every week. It was terrible. my first, after 12 days, I got like 35 opt-ins one day, and I got one sale. And this was after 8 months of working. And I remember breaking down. I remember I was crying because it was such a battle for me to get to that stage. And when I made my first commission, of course it was a pasta price, but I couldn't care. I made a sale, and I could not believe what was happening. But the next day I got another sale, and the next day I got another sale, and the next day I got another sale. I was getting like 30 opt-ins a day. I was just getting sale after sale after sale for about a week, and I thought, this is amazing. If I keep this up, I'll be rich in no time. So after a week, I thought, let me contact this guy again, pay him another 25 bucks, and I'm on the high road. I can just lie back and watch the money come in. But I couldn't find this guy. He had disappeared. I didn't know where he was. I tried to email him. He wouldn't respond. Nothing. Anyway, so after that, trying to get a hold of him, I thought, what can I do? So I looked for because he had sent me a proof email of all the adverts that he had put up on Craigslist. And I might still have that somewhere on my computer, but I found the PDF. I clicked on every single one of the links, and I looked at the ads, and I saw the title, I saw the description, and the links and the pictures, because back then you could put pictures and links and everything. And I thought, if I could only duplicate what this guy has done, I could get the same result. My only problem was I couldn't post on Craigslist. I couldn't do it. So I spent another 2-3 weeks researching how to get me to post on Craigslist. Now I had to go through a lot of loopholes, use some proxies, buy some phone numbers for like $1 each, which was like 10 Rand. A lot of money, and I bought these phone numbers, and I finally got an account with Craigslist, and I managed to post some ads, and bam, I'm back in business. Now I'm just posting all the time, and guess what happened? My leads started coming in, and I started to get sales again. And then after about 2-3 weeks after that, because now I'm sitting on cloud nine, I'm making all these commissions. And Craigslist cut me off. They suddenly blacklisted all the proxies. You couldn't post. Everything was getting taken down. You know, you get that red line through your advert. I couldn't do it anymore. So I thought, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. So I couldn't spend any more money. And I thought, I was making videos before. Why wasn't that working? And I decided to take the same approach that I did with the Craigslist ad guy. I decided I was going to find somebody who was making videos like I was trying to, and I would follow exactly what they did. So I found a guy who was doing really well in video, and I started to watch his videos. But I didn't just watch the videos. I started to break down exactly what it was he was doing. And I found out later, because he had a tiny, like 10-minute course, and he was saying things like, don't introduce yourself into the video, get a person's attention in the first 5-7 seconds, tell people why they're there. And I suddenly realized people were clicking off my video because I was talking for 10-20 seconds before I even got to the point. So I started to make these videos, and I started to duplicate exactly what this guy was saying. I almost script word for word started to copy exactly what this guy was saying. I just put my titles into my name or whatever. And guess what happened? I started to get leads, and I started to get sales. And I started to create videos. But back then, I was doing reviews on every single product I could find, and I was doing what they call hijacking method, when you take a product and you hijack traffic from the product, and you just say, you don't need to buy this product to make money, but I got something that will help you out. And I started to realize I needed to start doing product reviews and giving people real information. So I started to tweak that, and I just continued doing that. And I did it for a period of about a year and a half. I just kept on doing that same thing. So every single day I'd be doing 4 to 6, sometimes 8, sometimes 10 videos a day. And I would just find products that I could do reviews on. All right, that's all I did. And I promise you this, I have thousands of videos out on YouTube, half of which I can't even find myself because all the channels, I've completely forgotten the username and password, but they're all out there somewhere, and I don't know what's what. But I started to make these videos, and I started to make these videos, and I just carried on and carried on and carried on and carried on and carried on. And I finally got to the stage where I actually walked into my boss's office, and I told him, I'm going, I've had enough. And I fired my own boss. It was a very, very ugly situation because there was a lot of politics and what I was doing inside of the work environment, and I just fired him. I said, you know what, that's it, I'm out of here, and you're probably going to be out in a few years yourself, because I thought he was doing a terrible job. But I left, and I haven't worked in 3 years. I haven't worked in 3 years. Why? Because I'm financially independent. I don't have to worry about money. If I go into a shop, I don't even think about the price, I just buy it. It's amazing what can happen if you just really work hard at something. But if you think about what I actually did, all right, you've got to understand that the couple of factors that were involved in it was, number one, is that Ryan believed in me. He honestly believed in me, and like big time. And that made me believe in myself. If you're ever doubting yourself, find somebody else who will believe in you. Find somebody else who will mentor you. And I believed in myself, all right? Then I was willing to invest time in myself. And I made it a point that every single night I would work for 2-3 hours. Every single night. Not being on YouTube or Facebook. I stopped watching TV. I used to be a huge series, like I used to watch series all the time. That's all I ever watched, is just series. But I cut that out of my life completely. I stopped socializing with people. And I don't mean in the bad sense. I just stopped going out. I stopped going to parties. I stopped going to these functions that everybody was having. I was working. And everybody knew that I was working. That was the difference. I stood out. I was known as that guy trying to make a business online. And I remember going to my friends and saying, look, I'm doing this thing online, do you want to be a part of it? And every single one of them said the same thing. Yeah, it sounds like a scam. It sounds like a weird thing. But you know what? Probably about 6 months ago, I remember friends actually coming up to me and said, Dave, what are you doing? And I said, you know what? That's all right. Don't worry about it. If you want to find out, go ahead and check out what I'm all about. But it's probably not for you. I don't even tell people what I do today. But here's the amazing thing. I have a skill now that I can use anytime I want to. And I credit a lot of what I've got right now to the fact that I had a mentor that believed in me. I was willing to invest in myself. I was willing to invest in my business. And I had a great community of people to work with. And I had a great system that worked up until a few months ago, all right? So, but here's the thing. Even when I lost stuff, even when I lost everything, because I did, I lost a lot of stuff a few months ago. I went back to zero. I got into MLSP, and they teach something called attraction marketing, which is amazing. And let me tell you something else. The thing about MLSP is the attraction marketing side of it was so great that the moment I got into it, now people are trying to find me because they teach you attraction marketing. And I built my business up twice as big as what it was before. And the thing is, I've only been in the company for 2 months, and I'm at L2, heading my way up to L3, which is incredible for a guy that lives in South Africa. You guys are probably wondering, how is it that you probably have it? You're probably lucky. How am I lucky? How am I lucky? I'm living in a country where we're trying to be a first world country, we're pretending to be, but we're not. Okay, we're not. I have restrictions all over the internet I can't go to because of where I live. There are solo ad vendors I cannot buy because I live in this country. I did everything through free methods. The only difference is I worked every single day and I never gave up. And I want to end off with this, Laura, which I find very interesting. There's something called the Chinese bamboo tree. And if you know anything about the Chinese bamboo tree, it's a hard nut. It's a hard nut that you put into the ground, and you have to water this nut every single day. Every single day you have to water the nut. The soil has to be right, and you have to water it every single day. And you know how long you have to water it for? You've got to water it for 5 years. Okay? You've got to water this nut for 5 years. And after 5 years, it'll start to sprout. And within 6 weeks, it'll grow to like 21 meters tall. And that's, I'm not saying it's going to take you 5 years, but what I'm trying to say to you is you've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the dedication, and you've got to cry, and you've got to hurt, and you've got to stand out, and you've got to be that person that's exceptional. So when people look at you, you know, I asked somebody the other day, what do you think it takes to be online? And because they saw me in real time, they told me everything that I thought, wow, that's incredible. They said, man, you've got to be dedicated. You've got to be absolutely dedicated. And the truth is that a lot of people don't make it in this industry because they are so used to blending in. And the thing is, when you're in this industry, you have to step out of that, and you've got to be something extraordinary so that when people look at you, they know, no, this person's different. They work really hard. And then what happens is when you reach a moment of success in your life, you've done all that hard work. You stand out. You are exceptional, and it changed the way you look. I want to take actually, Chris Jones has this great thing where he says he wants to get a license plate, and I want to get a license plate that's going to read, you said no. It's going to read, you said no on the license plate. So when I drive off, people say, what's that about? I don't worry about it. So I'm just telling you right now that I believe 100% that anybody can do this business if they are prepared to work. And as the doctor said here in South Africa, the problem in this country is people are allergic to work. Suddenly when it takes dedication, you get distracted. And don't kid yourself. I don't believe for one moment that anybody is really lazy. The only difference is you don't really have any sort of goal or any sort of vision. And so I say to people, if you want to get somewhere, you've got to believe that you're there before you even arrive. And so you've got to go on your own staycation. Okay, your staycation, where you're sitting down and you're visualizing what it is you want to be and where you want to go. Because I said to Ryan when he first contacted me, I said, Ryan, one day I'm going to meet you face to face, and I'm going to see you in person, and that is what I'm looking forward to. And you know what? It happened. It happened last year. I went to Vegas. I went to go and see Ryan, and we met. And there's actually a video of it somewhere online. But we met, and it's on camera for the first time ever. And I'm just going to say that your dreams can absolutely come true. Honestly, I thought I was the most unluckiest person alive. I didn't think that this could ever happen to me. But the truth is that it's only happened because I've had tremendous support. I've had a community of people who believed in me. You know, I've got people that I will never forget. I mean, Laura, she invited me into her team. She's been incredibly helpful and just recognized who I was. You know, I've got Robert over here who's incredibly supportive. I've known Jamie for a while. I've known Chris Pies for I've known Chris Pies for like 2-3 years, and it's almost like we're brothers. And, you know, Katie Stage, tremendous help. Sonia, just so many people that have supported me and helped me. And I would never have got here if it weren't for their kindness and their help. And, you know, that's really what I want to say, Laura. I just thank you so much for having me.
Just wow. I mean, I was like sitting here taking notes because there's just so much reaction that I have to everything that you shared. I mean, I knew most of your story, but that's the first time I've heard it in its entirety. And what an incredible story. Just powerful. And, you know, I'm looking over here for the, I forgot to say at the beginning of the call, I have another laptop over there. That's why I keep looking over here. And I'm looking at the chat from the page, the TNS Hangouts page, to see what people are saying. And people are just mesmerized, you know, entranced, blown away, inspired. You're giving people hope and lifting their hearts. So you can check out that page while I talk here for a few minutes. But yeah, what I wanted to say, and by the way, if you're inspired, you know, if Dave invited you to this call and you're inspired by what he's saying, get back in touch with him because he can help you change your life, obviously, right? He is incredible. And whoever invited you, if you click the Join Now button below this video and below the chat, it will take you to join with them, okay? So make sure you do that. But what I wanted to say is, you know, some of the things that I gather from your story, and I'm sure Robert will agree, the words I wrote down was dedication, commitment, persistence, and action in the face of adversity. No matter what obstacles, for those of you watching this live or, you know, the replay, no matter what came to him, he still pushed forward. He still pressed on. He didn't quit. You know, not being able to get a Craigslist account, I mean, oh my gosh, that would be the end of the world for us here in the United States, right? Imagine living in South Africa and having to fight through all the things he had to fight through just to be able to get phone numbers, just to be able to get proxies, just to be able to get a Craigslist account, right? And then have that going and then boom, get it shut down. You know what I mean? And be like, now what? But he spent time. Something very important that he said. He invested time. You know, this isn't something, and this is something I say so often that just blows me away. People in this world, all right, I used to be one of them, so I'm not saying anything about anybody I haven't said about myself. People in this world will work 40 hours a week, you know what I mean, every week, whatever, 52 weeks a year, you know, for what? However much money, you know, 200, 300 bucks a week, whatever. Some people over salary make more. But if they decide to work from home and they don't make $10,000 in their first week, then, oh, it must be a scam and they got to quit, right? And I'm like, you're willing to work 40 hours a week for somebody else for how much money? But if you don't make 10 grand in a week, I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. And it goes back to the saying of, you know, entrepreneurs and what we do, we're willing to work 80 hours a week for ourselves, building our own business so we don't have to work 40 hours a week for someone else. And we're willing to do now things in life. Like he said, he stopped going to parties, right? He stopped going out and socializing and doing things and watching TV. I stopped watching TV. I stopped going out, all that stuff. Because I realized that not only was I able to impact and change my life, I was able to impact and help other people change their lives, which is so much more important than just, you know, partying and doing whatever, which are pointless things. Like, I never knew that there was a way to literally live my dreams. And once you realize that, you're like, holy shit, like, this is real. You can really change your life. You really can live what your passions are. You really can do what it is that you want to do and live your dreams. You know what I mean? And so, you know, like he said, he stopped going to parties and things because we're willing to do things now that other people aren't. Like he said, his friends like knew he was working and they're like, oh, you're wasting your time, that's just a scam, right? He was willing to do things now that his friends and other people weren't willing to do. Why? So later he can live the way he wants like he is now. And they can. Now they're coming to him like, what is it you do? Oh, don't even worry about it. It's probably not for you. You know, you can go find me online if you want. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's true, you know, that saying where, like, you know, try to tell people, hey, this is what we're doing, we're changing our lives, whatever, and people are like, oh, it's a scam or whatever. Like, we try to tell you, you know what I mean? So, it's just, all the stuff that you said is so incredible, and those are the thoughts that I had, and, you know, MLSP, this is the thing, and to add to, you know, all the roadblocks that he had and the things that kept happening and getting shut down, he still, when he didn't know how to do something, he did research. Spent time, did research, stalked people, figured it out, did what they did. It's called modeling, copying. You can call it what you want, stealing, swiping. I look at it as complimentary when someone is doing what I do because that means they must think I'm doing something right, right? Modeling after me. But that's what he did to become successful, and he did not stop no matter what. And this last time a few months ago when he got shut down and went back to zero, and I know his pain, been there, done that, was right there with him, you know what I mean? But there wasn't a doubt in my mind that he would pick up and move on, because he did. And here's the thing, it's not necessarily about the business that you function in, because if you recall, the first business that he was functioning in, he wasn't even able to do because he lived in South Africa. But it didn't stop him from finding a way to work for himself and making money. And this tells you one thing, that this business, this industry is about YOU, not necessarily the business you're promoting. Now, it's easy to promote a business if you're passionate about it. You should always do what you're passionate about. But this is the exact reason that MLSP is the best place to be, with the best community. And I feel very strongly about that, because MLSP is not about trying to get you to promote specific products or get people to buy things, like whatever. MLSP is about creating and helping you brand YOU, right? That's what it's about. And as you can see and hear from Dave's story, he is the one who did all this. He is the one who put all the work in. He is the one, he built himself. It didn't matter that, he couldn't get this company to work because of where he lived, and it didn't matter that, he couldn't get Craigslist because of where he lived, and he worked and he worked and he worked. And then he is the one who created everything for himself, just like you can create for yourself. But you have to be the one to do your work. So why wouldn't you be affiliated or want to be affiliated with a company that teaches you to do exactly that, which is brand YOU, right? With all the training that you need, Facebook Live, Craigslist, email marketing, LinkedIn, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. MLSP teaches you how to brand you and build you inside of its back office. So it's absolutely incredible. So Dave, I don't know, I know I said a lot, but that's really, your story is incredible, and those are all the things that I got from it. Now, Robert, I'm sure I saw you writing some things down too, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure you've got some things that you want to share, maybe something you want to ask Dave?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Dave. Hey, everybody. Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me on here. Dave, I got one critical question, and I think Laura kind of touched on it just now. It's kind of funny, great minds think alike, Laura, but Dave, you were with a previous company. What happened, or actually, how were you able to get back to where you are now with this new company? What occurred that you were able to hit the leaderboards in such a short amount of time with MLSP?
Well, as I said about MLSP teaches attraction marketing, and the one thing that I knew, or that attraction marketing teaches you, is that you have to let people know how to find you. You also need to provide value, and you need to do it on a regular basis. And here's the other thing, is that I've developed relationships over a period of time with a lot of people, and because of that, people tend to follow you and tend to go where you're going, because you're heading in the right direction and people want that. And that's exactly what happens, is that when you do something on a consistent basis all the time, people are always watching you. People are always watching you, even when you think they're not. All right, sometimes when you put a video out there, you might not even see likes on it, but if you refresh the actual page, you've got like 15 views, 16 views, because people are listening to what you have to say. And it's only a matter of time before people start to resonate with you and say, I want what that person has. And the one thing, one of my goals in life is to actually meet Jeff Walker, because to this day I still follow him. To this day, I want to meet him one day and shake his hand and say thank you for inspiring me. But that's really what I did. I don't know if that's helpful at all, or if I've like clear as mud. But yeah, that's what I did. I just wanted to touch on a few things what you were saying, Laura. And I believe that five things, and I say this time and time again because I believe that these are the keys to really succeeding online, and I won't deviate from them at all. For in my opinion, the five things that you need to succeed is that you need a mentor. You need a mentor, all right? Whether you can actually physically, speak with one, but you need somebody that you can follow. You absolutely need someone you can follow. If you don't have a mentor, you're kind of dead in the water. All right. So if you're not looking at somebody who is producing results, then you really don't know where to go. The second thing you need, as you mentioned, is you need to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. Most of the time, we're sacrificing our time for other people, for our friends and our family and for other people that we're helping all the time, but you need to invest time in yourself. If you don't do that, what you're going to do is all you're going to be doing is spending your energy helping other people. For about maybe 25 years of my life, I've been a youth worker. And for about 25 years of my life, I gave a lot of my time to helping my church and my community, and that's fine. But the problem was I had no time to work on me, and I had to make a sacrifice. It's taken me a big sacrifice to do that, so you need to invest in yourself. The third thing is that if you don't invest in your business, and I'm talking money here, not just time, but you need to invest in your business, all right? Because at the end of the day, you could figure this out all on your own. You could become a programmer. You can do all the research, but it's going to take you an age to get there. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to use stuff that people have used already and just follow what they're doing. And I'm telling you right now that the best training that I've received, I've paid for. All right, so you need to invest in your business. You have to. You cannot divorce that from the five traits. All right. And the fourth thing is you need a community of people. You need that community, because at the end of the day, if you're not in a community and you're not involved with one, meaning that you're not contributing or you're not getting information and helpful tips from other people, you're also going to be dead in the water. And of course, the last thing is you absolutely need to be using systems that work. And there's a lot of crappy systems out there that don't work. But we're in a community of people where success is all over the place because people use systems that work. So I'm telling you right now, get a mentor, invest in yourself, invest in your business, get into a community, and start using systems that work. And that is how you will start to succeed. And just never, ever, ever, ever give up. No matter what happens, don't give up. There were times when I absolutely could not make payment on some things when I was involved with the other company. I couldn't do it. But I just kept on, and then when I finally had enough money, I found out I still need to pay extra because the time had lapsed. But I just kept on with it and kept on with it until I finally got back in. You cannot give up. You cannot. The moment you give up, here's the thing, if you're going to be consistent, right? If you are the one that's consistent, if you are constantly making videos, if you're constantly blogging, if you're constantly tweeting, and you keep on doing that, you are going to be the only one doing it at the end. Everybody else will fall away. And that's been my experience to the end. All right, so that's what I want to say. I'll just pass it back to Laura so she can.
Yeah, I love that. I was writing down your five things that you were talking about. Get a good mentor, invest in yourself, invest in your business, become involved with a community of great people, and use systems that work. And that's totally true. There's something too that I've talked about. I call the 3 C's, and I always clarify it because people think of the 3 C's in this industry as like capture, convert. What is it? Capture, convert. I can't think of the other one because I don't even go by that one. Whatever.
That's
create, capture, convert, or something like that. I don't know what it is. But anyway, the 3 C's that I've always talked about that really I had to define, a few months ago as well, when I made a huge decision and a huge move to become involved with MLSP, was what is it that allows me to be successful, to help people change their lives, right? And I came up with 3 C's. I like spent a long time on my whiteboard back there, like just drawing out things that have happened in my life in this industry and what it is that I need to feel good in my soul to be able to help people change their lives and to be passionate about it. And the 3 C's I came up with was being part of an amazing community with an incredible culture that has a good compensation plan, right? That is really there to help people be successful, not to say, well, you can be successful, but you got to do X, Y, Z and jump through all these hoops first, right? It's about you. It's about, yes, investing in yourself, investing in your business, but not doing things that you shouldn't have to do, right? You know, I mean, because like Dave said, you know, I mean, and he's from a third world country, you know, dropping $3,000, dropping $5,000, you know, for X, Y, Z, it's ridiculous and it's not necessary. There is good, incredible training, and I got to tell you, inside the back office at MLSP, I've never seen a company that gives you the basics, right? Like, every week there's training on Wednesday Night Live where people who are successful at their own platforms, could be Twitter this week, Instagram that week, whatever's hot and new, they do training on. But I'm talking about basic training for people who are brand new. And even if they're not brand new, if you're not brand new in the industry, but you've been in the industry but haven't had a lot of success because you didn't have training, I mean, just basic training to help you be successful and learn how to market you, right? And I've never seen anything like it. So let me look over here. Create, capture, and convert. Thank you, Jamie. Looking over here at the chat. You know, and Jamie said being a part of a team and a part of a community speeds up your learning and being able to ask questions, and that's true. You know, we have an incredible, the main MLSP community is huge, and like you can put a question in there and 10 people will answer it within 60 seconds, right? But inside of our TNS community as well, on Facebook, our group, you know, you can ask any questions anytime, and anybody just jumps on, you know, and helps to answer, and we have weekly calls. And, you know, Dave himself, I would like to ask him to talk a little bit about what he does on Monday nights. And I got to say that, you know, his nickname is the 24-hour marketer, because like I said in what I had created in the event, you know, he is dedicated to helping people around the clock. And I love the fact that he's on my team because, you know, TNS stands for Team No Sleep, which means success never sleeps, because regardless of whether it's 4 a.m., if it's 4 a.m. in my time, guess what? Guess what time it is where Dave lives, or guess what time it is where some people who are in Australia live, or like Sonia who lives in the UK. You know, when we're supposed to be sleeping, other areas of the world are awake, which means, you know, this is really success never sleeps, and he is the epitome of that. So if Dave, if you could talk about what it is that you do on Monday nights, and also share a little bit about your workshop on Saturday nights too, that'd be great.
Yeah. We have a Monday night 24-hour marketing mastermind where we do something similar to what Laura does, in that we share stories, we share some tactics and some tips on how to grow your business, but we really want people to be helped and to be to be, you know, because a lot of times when you get into some sort of community and you want help, you really just want to speak to people. And so we've developed this workshop which we have on a Saturday, which is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday. And you know, we don't just let anybody in there. We actually have a set of criteria that you need to meet to get on there. And if you would like to, you just get in contact with myself or, you know, Robert or anybody else who's in the workshop. But what we do on that workshop is we help each other and we keep each other accountable. And if we have problems, we sort something out. We were sorting out an issue with domain mapping the other day, and we got that sorted out on that workshop because we were trying to say, hey, does anybody know how to sort this out? And so we really just have a to and fro. And if we're having trouble, we speak about it. So there's an interaction where we can actually communicate. And this is for people inside of MLSP, right? So if you're feeling alone and you don't know what's happening, you can always reach out to us and we can get you part of that. And it's not a huge community. It's actually only for people who are willing to put themselves out there, who are willing to take the extra step and go outside of their comfort zone Because believe it or not, if you're not willing to get yourself on camera, it's going to be a really, really, really hard road for you. You have to put yourself out on camera. You have to. And that's one of the criteria, is that we need you to make a video. So that's what we do, all right? This is a workshop is for people who want to step outside their comfort zone and who really want to take the business to the next level. And we have it on a Saturday because we are serious about changing our lives, all right? And we understand that this Saturday everybody's got stuff to do, but this is why we have it, because we want to stand out and be exceptional. Yeah, that's what we do.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And also, by the way, what time is it where you're at right now?
It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning.
Almost 4 a.m. South Africa. It's almost 4 a.m. and he is here with us live, right? Doing this call. Absolutely amazing. I so appreciate you. But another thing I want to share. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you to share this. I'm going to kind of take you off guard here. Something he talked about, which is so true. Since he's been involved with MLSP, is learning that people are coming to him, right? He doesn't have to go out and seek people. People are coming to him. And the perfect example is something that happened to him recently there in South Africa. So, yeah, I would love for you to share. This is true. Okay, share what happened to him there in South Africa because of what he does online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a great example. And I want to share this for two reasons. One, I want to share it because it shows how much people really want to change. Now, here's the thing. I've been online for a while, and there was a guy that found one of my videos, and he watched me, and he found out where I lived. Okay, so what he did is he looked me up in the white pages, found my address, and went to my house. Okay, and stood outside the gate, shouting at the top of his voice my name until I'd walk outside. And I'm like, who the heck is this person? So I go up there and he says, hey, you're the guy on the internet. You're that guy that makes... I'm like, yeah, okay. So he says, can we have a conversation? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Let's go and let's have a coffee somewhere. So we drove off and we sat down. But here's the thing. Before we sat down, I said, look, I got to tell you something. I can tell you exactly what to do. In fact, I will tell you exactly what to do. I'll give you instructions on A to Z on how to actually accomplish what it is you want to do, but you probably are not going to do it. And he kind of just laughed at me and said, oh, okay, let's get back on with it. So I'm busy telling him exactly what to do. I'm giving him instructions. I'm giving him the blueprint to success. And at the end of the during the conversation, he still wanted to tell me about his idea, making a website, getting people on the website. So I'm like, how do you get people on there? I don't know. I was just thinking maybe we get people to, pay people to. People can pay to get on the website. Why are people paying to get on this website? Have you heard of eBay? Have you heard of Amazon? What the heck? So I'm telling him, I'm saying, this is what you need to do. He says, oh, great, man, that would be awesome. I'll join like tomorrow and I'll get on there right now. I still haven't heard from this guy. I still haven't heard from him. But, this is what I'm talking about. You'll probably find that in a few months' time, you'll keep watching and keep watching and keep watching and keep watching. And this is what we talk about, and this is in attraction marketing. I'll give you a very, very good tip here. It's called pre-framing people. Okay, so in pre-framing, what we're doing is we're speaking to people on Facebook or Twitter or whatever platform you use, and we are telling people those 5 things I was telling you about, right? Those 5 things. Mentor, invest in yourself, invest in business, community, and systems that work. And you are constantly talking about that all the time, just in different ways, in different stories, and you're just saying this all over again. You type something out, you refer to those 5 things. Now, if you do that enough times, if a person watches you over and over and over and over and over again, what's going to happen is that when somebody says, I'm ready to join, you're not going to have any problem. Why? Because they know they need a mentor. They got one. They know they need to invest in their time. They know they need to invest in their business. You're not going to have somebody saying, oh, I really want to do this for nothing. All right? They know that they need a community. They know that. And that's pre-framing. That is what we do, and that is how you get people to finally end up joining you, is by pre-framing people over and over. You do this on blogs, you do this on Facebook, you do this on Twitter, and that is how people follow you over time and join you and stick. Yeah, that's yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I was muted. There we go. Absolutely. That's so true. I love the story. It's funny too, because I was in Walmart. This was probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I was in Walmart and I was buying a different lens for my nice camera. And I was standing there, and I was so glad my husband was with me, because I know he probably wouldn't have believed me had he not actually been there. Because it's just so random. It's weird, right? I was standing there in the checkout line in the electronics department of Walmart, and all of a sudden I heard someone say, "Hey, you're that lady from the internet." And I turned around, and there was this lady there, and her kid must have been maybe 13, 14 months old, just a little, a kid, a baby, basically. And I was like, yeah, she goes, "I'm going to join your team. I'm joining your team." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" It was so funny. And sure enough, she did. She joined the next day. It was crazy. But it's just weird, It's like becoming famous in your own little right. But, there's something to be said. Thanks for joining us. I'm not sure, Lena Biz, thanks for joining us. Chris, everybody, appreciate you coming on. But there's something to be said about your story. You know what I mean? You guys who have joined us live tonight, I appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, we appreciate you as well. But you've come on and you've heard a story. And there's something that I share often, and that is that it only takes one person to change your life, right? It only took one person to speak hope and inspiration into Dave Reineke's heart, right? And I can relate to that, because it only took one person to speak hope and inspiration into mine. I heard someone speak on stage, and I said, that man's story relates to mine. I have the same type of history as that person. If he can do it, I can do it. And I went up to that person and I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to do this. And they said, I believe you. And I don't know if they really believe me or not, but I know I needed to hear that. And that's what Dave's telling you. You need a mentor. You need someone to believe in you. You can't believe in yourself yet, right? And that's what we're here for, because we do. We believe in you because we know what's possible. And the thing is, you might say to yourself, well, okay, Dave can do it, but how can I? Or Laura can do it, how can I? Robert can do it, but how can I, right? But the thing is, your story is different than my story, is different than Dave's, is different than Robert's. You know what I mean? Like, I can affect and influence people that they can't. They can affect and influence people that I can't. And guess what? You can affect and influence people that we can't, because your story is your story. Someone somewhere out there needs to hear exactly what it is that you have to say, right? Just like you being on this call tonight was no accident. There's a reason, there's a purpose for it. You needed to hear what Dave had to share with you tonight. So I'm grateful that you're here. I pray that you were inspired by Dave's story, because I know that I was. He is incredible, just incredibly caring individual, and I'm so thankful and grateful to call him a friend and that he's a part of this team. So I thank you very much for being here with us tonight, Dave. Like I said, it was a long time coming at the beginning of the call. I've been waiting for this. So I appreciate you. I thank you, Robert, for coming on. For those of you who are watching, Terry Miller, Mace the Crusher, Chris Pyers, Lena, Jamie, everybody that's out there, Cheryl, there's many, many more. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but we appreciate you coming on and sharing your Sunday night with us. Make sure you get in touch with Dave or myself or whoever invited you to this call, right, so that you can get started. And don't forget about Dave's call tomorrow night, the 24-hour marketer. You can check out his Facebook page, and I'm sure he has the link all over it for that, right, so you can join that call tomorrow night. And we just thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you again on the next TNS Hangouts call. Thank you so much. please get back in touch with the person that invited you, and we appreciate you. Have a fantastic night. Thanks, everyone.